First of all, let me just thank each and every one of you on a personal level for coming out, and especially the parent. Um, Let me just give you a background of myself. As I said, my brother Yogesh introduced me as Pandit Ravi Rattan. I'm a priest in the Hindu Ardens. My name is Ravi Rattan. I was brought up in a very poor home, which I want to share with you, and it's something that you really don't need to know, but there's a reason why I want you to know this. And growing up from a young age, my parents would tell me, again, the operative word there is my parents, they would say to me that the only way out of poverty is education. The only way out of poverty is getting yourself educated. And when you're educated, you can lift yourself up, you can bring yourself up, and you can rise to higher heights. And I took that and I ran with it, and here I am today. I'm in New York City. I got myself qualified as a teacher in both math and English, and I want to give back to the society. I taught at Far Rock High School. Do we know where that is? All right, it's Far Rockaway. It's considered one of the craziest schools around. Beach Channel High School, and a few other high schools, but my last job was at a private school called Harlem Children's Zone, where I used to be a math teacher and English teacher from grade 9 to 12. Now, the reason why I'm saying education is the only way out, it is true. You see, this term poverty doesn't necessarily mean your economic position, but you can be poor in terms of your academics. You can be poor in other departments. But this education, if you take your education and you run with it, and you take your academics and you run with it, you will go through college and you will reach people in our society and you will become someone that stands out in society. So this is the reason why this Sangeet Samaj sees the reason and the need to help in our community. And more so for what reason? Number one, if you look at the standard of literacy and the standard of English and mathematics, comparing the US standard to that of the world, we will see that, what our current mathematics standard is? Or what place we are in the world? Imagine 1 being the highest and maybe 100 being the lowest. You know what place we are? We are currently 31. We hold 31 place in mathematics. And the US is an English-speaking country. You want to learn English, you come here. Unfortunately, we are space 25. We are the 25th in all the countries. And with China being number one, look at this, in ELA. China being number one in ELA. Japan being number one in mathematics. And we have other countries that are non-English speaking countries who are better than us in English and math. So, why are we at this level? We're at this level because, I will tell you, believe it or not, we are at this level because of the poverty ratio in the state of New York. We have the upper 43% of high income people. Because they have a higher income, they can afford to send their children and whatnot to better school and to have people come home for tutoring, after school tutoring and whatnot. The remainder of that are the people who are middle class and lower percentage. And because they have to hustle for a day-to-day living and to bring food to the table, most of the time the parents are taken up in working 3-4 jobs. And what happens to our children? We are concerned about providing for our children in terms of food, sending them to school. But we don't really have that time to sit with our children at the table and go over what they're doing in school. We don't have that time. How many of us here would go to a school and says to the teacher, let me see the curriculum? Parents?
I do.
One of them. And do we go through it? Right. There's something a little strange about the English curriculum for the year 2014 to 2012 through 2015. They added a few more things. Did we realize that? So aside from what we have, they've added on an extra 10 or 15 pages of new stuff that we have to learn. Now, with our parents being busy and doing about their daily activities, working and whatnot, we, the Sangeet Samaj, if you can just drop your children off here, we would help them with their citywide test. I know the citywide exam is coming up in April from math and ELA. And children tend to get very nervous because it's something new that the city has implemented. I think they started this as of 2000, I think 2008, somewhere around there they started this. Because when they look at the statistics and they look at the standard and they look at where we are, where our children are, because if we want to say that we are top, we are top of the world and everything, and be our children our future, they realize that if we are 31 and 25, how can we be on top? So they started to implement the citywide exams. And these citywide exams are just to test our children to see where they are so they can be placed in the right places in our education system to learn and get the right help that they deserve. Now, I know many of us parents would know that some kids would have IEPs and whatnot, and it's something that you don't share. But I would ask, if you think your child needs some extra help, you come up to one of us, the teacher or one of the helpers, and you said, you know what, my child may need a little extra help in this and that. But we as teachers, we would look at what they know and we would recognize that from what they're doing. So this is the reason why the Sangeet Samaj came up with this after-school study, because we as an independent organization, non-for-profit organization, realize a need in our community to help. This is what we are. We are helping. Absolutely free. We are not charging you a single penny. All we want you to do is to be committed to your child. Don't cheat them of that opportunity, because they are going to be the next scientist of the future, the next doctor of the future, perhaps the next president of the future we're looking at. And it starts off right here and right now. So we as parents, we have to grab them now and help them, because when these children go on to colleges and whatnot, and if they don't have the basics in mathematics and English, how can they go on to become engineers? And how can they go on to become better chemists? And how our generation would grow up? What would be our future in terms of medicine and in terms of engineering? We wouldn't have that, because you need both math and English to propel us to those heights. So I know each parent here, you know where your child is, what level they are, and how they can be helped. So this is the reason why we're here, to help each and every one of you in whatever little way you need help. We will help you. So don't be afraid to tell us where you're weak, because we would eventually find out. Don't be afraid to tell us. Don't be nervous. And I promise you that if you stick with us every week and you come here every week until April, we would help you jump from a C to maybe a B, or to maybe some better grade in class, and not so much in class as well, but the citywide. We would show the state of New York that our little community here, we are doing good, and because of this after-school help. Remember, you don't have to pay for it. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay for it. Just come, show up, and bring your homework or whatever you don't understand, and we will help you with it. All right? So with that said, I want to again welcome each and every one of you, and thank you so much for coming out. And also, if the children that are here, if you have classmates that you think may need some help, talk to them and let them know, and let them come and get themselves registered, or they can go online and get themselves registered and come join us, and we can help them as a group together. All right. With that said, thank you so much for coming out again. I'll hand you over back to